guys? Sean Gribbons here. Today, I want to talk to you and really just show you how I'm running Airbnb short term rental deals, vacation rental deals, second home deals, whatever you want to call it. Any place that you're buying and renting out. And when you're looking to buy the place, how are you running those numbers? How are you figuring out how much money the property will make? What the mortgage looks like, what your down payment looks like. How are you figuring all that out? Well, today I'm here to show you exactly how I do it for all my properties. It's pretty simple if you have the right tools. A few of these are free. Some of them you can pay for. You don't necessarily have to pay for them, but it kind of helps if you do. So anyways, without further ado, guys, let's get right into it. The first page that you're kind of looking at here, I'm sharing my screen, is this spreadsheet that I made about 6 to 8 months ago, and a bunch of people kind of around the US have been using this spreadsheet because it tells you absolutely everything you need to know. It even will print out furniture and repairs you can estimate in there. So it does everything really in depth. But first things first, to run properties and figure out exactly how much money they make, we need to pick a property. So I've got Zillow open here, and I live in Denver. So one of the cities that actually allows you to Airbnb full-time, short-term rent full-time in the metro area is a city called Littleton. And Littleton's kind of funny because it's all this is like Littleton, right? But this is all unincorporated Jefferson County. This is only downtown Littleton. Just kind of an interesting little fact. But here's a house right here. 665. You can see it looks pretty decent. I think it needs a little bit of updating to make it a perfect Airbnb, but it's not bad. It's not a bad shell. 4-bed, 3-bath. You could have easily 8 people here. So now that I've got this open and I've got some details about the property, I'm going to open AirDNA. And AirDNA is a comping tool where you can kind of check out the local market for short-term rentals in your area. It works fairly well. There's a few glitches, but it works pretty well for the most part. And this one's free. All you need to do is sign up for a free account. Now, they're going to ask you to pay, and they're going to want you to pay. You don't need to worry about that. Right now, we're finding properties. So if you log into your account, then you're going to come down on this left side here, and you'll see right here, there's a button that says Rentalizer. Click that button, and then what we're going to do is we're going to basically use this address, 7823 South Logan. It should fill in Drive in Littleton. And so it's going to think here for a second. You can see the circle moving. It's pulling up information on the house. Now, 90% of the time I've found they never have the right numbers of bedrooms and bathrooms. So if you'll remember, this house is a 4-bed, 3-bath, 3,200 square feet. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to change that real quick. It's a 4-bed, 3-bath, and I put 2 people per bedroom, so 2 times 4 is 8. We'll click Update. Give it a second. Okay, now we can get a little bit of information about the property and how well it's going to perform. So AirDNA thinks that the average daily rate for a 4-bedroom, 3-bath house that holds 8 guests in Littleton, Colorado, around this address will generate $63,422 a year and $261 average daily rate. Now, let's stop real quick. It's important that you know average daily rate is not the nightly rate of the property. Okay, it is not the nightly rate of the property. The average daily rate is the nightly rate of the property plus cleaning fees. So, for instance, if you have somebody that stays for 5 days, they pay 1 cleaning fee, but they pay $100 a night, or for this example, maybe they pay $240 a night, and their cleaning fee broken down over those days that they're staying ends up being, $21 a day. That's where you would get the average daily rate. So the average daily rate is basically your total revenue divided by how many days in a year, essentially. So what's the average daily rate? Well, on average, it's $261 at 67% occupancy. So that kind of gives you a little bit of a good idea about, the average property in Littleton in this area. And that's really kind of the information that we need in order to do all our calculations. So what we're going to do is head right back to our first page, the Airbnb returns underwriter spreadsheet. And what we're going to do is we're going to start to enter in some information. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to be going back and forth between these two pages. So we've got 675,000. So we'll punch in 675. And closing costs are automatically calculated. Paid concessions. I'm a real estate agent, so for instance, I always take my commission. So I would plug in there, my commission if I was doing that. To keep things straight and simple, we're not going to do that. Percentage amount of your down payment. So most companies, especially for investment properties, you're not going to occupy are 20%. So you plug in 20%, boom, you can see automatically, okay, $135,000 down payment. Plus we've got our closing costs right here. You can enter in your loan term in years right here. So you can see if we do 15 years, it'll change numbers on the back end. So we'll keep this at 30. I like to be leveraged. The APR, the annual percentage rate, we're going to bump that down to a little bit more market rate right now, which is 3.25. PMI is automatically calculated, and then property taxes is another thing that you're going to need to check out. So you can see 2020 last year taxes were $2609. So we'll plug in here property taxes $2609. Cool. Now this page is done. So you look at the bottom here and we'll move on to the income and expenses tab. Now this is where AirDNA really comes into play, right? And let me just back these numbers out right here so we've got a nice fresh slate. So right here, here's our average daily rate, okay? And sometimes it helps to keep a calculator handy because you're going to need to do some multiplication here. And the way I like to do this is take $261, I times it by 30 for the month, right? The amount of days, that gives us $7,830. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply it by the occupancy rate. So I'll take 7,830, I'll multiply it by 0.67, and that's going to give me $5,246.10. So we'll just round it to the dollar, and right here I'm going to plug in my Airbnb monthly. So right there, that's probably a big step for a lot of people, is like, we just found out how much money the place is going to make per month, which on average is going to be $5,246. I can tell you, AirDNA with my properties, it told me that my property would be at 67% occupancy rate. I'm running at 93%. So this is just very conservative. Obviously, you can be above the average because this is just calculating the average. So we'll come back here. Long-term rents, we don't have any long-term rentals here. Additional monthly income, we don't have like extra parking we're charging for, but you can, and this will also work for long-term if you just have apartment complexes. You can also run numbers in here. It's not going to hurt you. So you'll see here that our mortgage payment is automatically calculated, okay? Our insurance is a number that you've got to plug in. So I just know for about this property house price, it's going to be about $3,400 a year. Maintenance, I'll leave it $1,000. Maid service, this is kind of something you have to do a little bit of research on. I mean, looking at this property, right, this is a 4-bed, 3-bath, 3,200 square feet property. It's going to cost a lot of money to get this cleaned, especially for an Airbnb turnover. So I would say it's probably about $250 a cleaning, and I would say you're going to have on average, since there's 4 weeks, and I would probably make it a minimum of a 4-night stay, you're probably going to have 4 to 5 cleanings at most. So we'll plug in 5 times 250, and that gives us $1,250. So we'll plug that in. And then we've got our electrical and gas. That's probably a little high. We'll bump that to 200. We've got our water. That's a little high. We'll do that at 40. Sewer, that's a little high too. We'll do that at 40. TV and internet, that's probably a little high. We'll do that at 200. And trash, we can get waste management for about $20 a month, if you can believe that. So right there, you'll see our monthly expenses cost and our monthly income. So quickly here, you can see, wow, this deal is going to be really tight, right? It's going to be pretty close to break even, if not make very little money. Now, if we needed to do furniture or needed to calculate for supplies and you just want to know, hey, what's going to be my total dollar amount out the door in order to buy this property and get it furnished, this page you're going to love. So what you can do is you can easily come in here, fill in all this information. You can even fill in your own information here. So if you said, hey, I want to be able to do lamps and they're going to cost me $50 a piece, you can put that in there. And then when you calculate, hey, I need 5 lamps, it's automatically going to do the math for you down here, okay? And not only that, but you can put in a contingency budget. So if you say, hey, I want to make sure that I've got enough money for taxes and, just any incidentals, you can plug in, 10, 20%. We'll plug in 10% here. So see, it adds another $25 on to the grand total, okay? And this is just a super simple way where you can even do a file. You can do download and you can do a PDF, and that way you've got a shopping list now to take to the store or to shop online with. It's super cool, super easy, and that's just part of this page. This number right here that prints out, it will come onto our next page and it will be our total money out of pocket, right? It gets added right here into that number. So that way hey, in order to get this property up and running and going, producing income, it's going to cost $145,000 out of pocket. Now, you can see here, we've got our returns tables. Holding costs, real nicely displayed here in red. This is money going out. Money coming in is in green, always, okay? Now, for instance, if something were to be a negative number here, and you were to lose money or it would be a bad deal, for instance, these boxes would turn red. So you would quickly know, like, hey, something's off here. Something is not working. Now, you can see this one is going to be really, really slim, right? So our monthly income, we've got with the principal payment. So you've got to remember the principal payment that you're making on the loan. We're calculating that as an income, okay? Because technically that's going into a bank account that we're holding on to. So that's $1,449. Now, you can come down here and see $17,553. This is just for the first year. Obviously, we've got our net return here, $7,000 in cash flow for your first year. Not too shabby. Again, I'd like to see that substantially higher though, especially for a $665,000 house. If you plan on living here as a second home and this is paying you a little bit and paying all the bills, booyah, then that's amazing. Especially at 67% occupancy, you're still able to go out, have a great time, spend time with your family, and make it a worthwhile investment. So then we've got our 5-year returns. We've obviously got our return on investment. We can factor in appreciation down here, so you can see if you want to consider the market going up. You can really factor in appreciation, and you can see just how these numbers boost. And you can see when this property's paid off, here's the return on investment you've received over, the past 30 years on this property, almost $12 million. That's amazing. That's pretty impressive. So you can kind of just see all these numbers. It's really cool. It helps you instantly be able to say, okay, this is a deal, or no, this isn't a deal. All you need to do is make some goals of saying, hey, if we can buy a property for $600,000 and it makes, monthly cash flow after paying everything of $1,500 or $2,500 or $350, or $3,500, then that's probably a good deal for you. You know, it just is up to you. And that's where nobody can tell you, hey, this is a good deal or this is a bad deal. I can tell you it's a good deal that it makes money right here, but would I take a deal that makes only $561 and I'm paying $665 and then we get COVID round 2.0, the government shuts everything down? That's a little sketchy to me, right? But there's ways to find properties that do make a lot of money and make a lot more cash flow and make a lot more sense. And that's really where it comes up to you to say, this makes sense to me, I'm going to buy this, or this doesn't make sense to me, I'm not going to buy it. But I hope I've made it really easy for you guys. It's just a couple tools that you've got to use. I'm able to bust out, one or two properties in about 15 minutes on the calculator and say yay or nay on them. And so it's just a quick, easy tool to use. I hope you guys are able to use it. You can find this spreadsheet for sale on my website. I've got a promotion going on for $20. It's super inexpensive. It's a lifetime, product. You download it once, you've got it for life. The license lasts forever. It's not going to lock you out. Works on Excel, works on Google Drive. And then, like I said, AirDNA is completely free. You can log in, make a free account. And then Zillow, obviously, or Redfin, or whatever property searching website you want to use. So thanks for watching, guys. If I provided you some value, please like, comment, subscribe below. If you have questions, please reach out. If you're looking for some one-on-one consultation, check out my Fiverr link in the description below. I'd love to help you out. I'd love to hear from you. Cheers. We'll see you on the next one.